Hello again, guys and gals. I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to American Outback. And we have a long day of work ahead of us. Obviously, we did our harvest at the end of the previous episode. And since then, I have also purchased Field 6 down here. Having done some contract work on this field over the, in between the last few episodes, got the price down to around about $236,000. So took out a loan, bought the field. It's fully fertilized. It's been ploughed as part of the contract work that we did, and has a nice corn harvest ready to go. So this field is at maximum potential yield, which is great. So it means of that 236,000 that we've paid, we're going to get some of that money back just from the actual value of this harvest, which is fantastic. We've also done a little bit of extra contract work just to help bring that loan debt back down again. So currently, financially, we have a loan of 110,000. So we have 190 or so available left on that loan. Plus, obviously, we have a little bit of cash on hand. We have a good sort of base of crops here. Not looking to necessarily sell anything right now, but we may well sell something later if a great demand pops up, or if a price looks really, really tempting. So first things first, we've got that field to harvest. So let's get our combine off, pick up our corn header, and make our way over to our brand new field. Of course, one other thing we need to get done is we need to start cultivating and cleaning our fields ready for the next seeding process as well. And field 2, our little field here by the farm, does actually need ploughing. So we're going to use our culti plough just here with Big Bud and turn the field over, get that prepped, and we'll get that done with a worker while we're harvesting away on field 6. I do like this little culti plough. It's such a great little tool. My only problem with it is just how much horsepower it does use. It really restricts how much you can use it. You need a tractor with 450 horsepower to really use it properly, and that's on flat ground. On a map with very hilly terrain, you're going to be wanting 500 horsepower plus with one of these things. But it does a good job. So let's get that set off and away. There we go. And let's go back to our combine. So off we go. We're going to try and do a little bit of in-cab harvesting. Hopefully I can stay on course here, stay nice and straight, and a nice little bit of in-cab footage. It's easier to do this when you have row crops like this, because you can actually see where your header is positioned, in relation to the rows. And I've got this nice gap between the rows that my steering wheel sits right in the middle of, which is another little visual cue for me here. I'm using the knob on the steering wheel as kind of my guide point. As long as it stays in roughly equidistant between those two rows, I know I'm pretty much staying in a straight line. Just a little check to make sure I'm not missing anything on the side. Everything looks good there. Just making little corrections here and there as I need to. So while I'm doing this, let's talk mods. Obviously, the mod contest is over. We know the results. We know the winners. Congratulations to them, and also to the runners-up as well, who also won some prizes. We are now seeing a resumption in mod testing, which is great. And there are actually some interesting-looking mods in testing for consoles right now as we speak. The Smith trailer, the bale trailer that was in testing a little while ago and failed, is back in testing, and Apparently, the modder has already received word that it has passed, so hopefully we might even see that mod today. I say I'm recording this just before. Yeah, this is the early hours in the morning for me, so that mod may well be out by the time you see this video. But as of right now, it's still in testing. So it'll be interesting to see if the Smith trailer comes out today. Also, we have a set of front-loader tools. I don't really know much about those. It's the description is very generic. It just says front-loader tools in the mod testing queue. So it could be one of any number of packs. We just don't know. There's no other information other than front-loader tools. So can't say with 100% certainty what that mod's going to be. Obviously, we know it's going to be tools for front loaders, but we don't know necessarily who it's by. I have done a quick Google search and found something that it might be, which is a series of kind of like red rusted tools. Might be that pack. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Also in testing, we have Smoky Mountain Logging, a map by FDR Logging. So it looks as though consoles are finally going to get a logging map, and that's something that a lot of console users have been asking for quite a long time, is to have a map dedicated for logging, and it looks as though we might finally be getting one. Obviously, that's subject to the mod passing testing, so it may fail testing, it may be errors that can't be fixed. We just don't know what's going to happen until it completes its testing cycle, but it is in testing, and that is a promising sign, because I think that's the first, or at least since they started posting updates of what's in testing, that's the first logging map that we've seen go through the testing cycle. So we are almost full already. Let's pipe out and bring the auger around. There we go. Yeah, that is the first logging map that I know of that we've actually seen in testing. So that's a promising sign. Also, we have a 185,000 litre mother bin that's currently in testing as well. It's an auger on steroids, basically. It's a massive auger for all your little augers to feed into. And that looks absolutely brilliant and would be perfect for Big Bud Farm. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that one. And what else do we have? We also have a logging claw from BioBelts. This is one that actually attaches to the back of the tractor. And that looks pretty cool as well. That's also currently in testing. And there might be something else. Is there something else that I'm missing? Let's have a look. I just get the feeling I'm missing something. Oh yes, there's an update apparently for the old stream version 2 as well. Kind of curious as to what they're actually updating, and hopefully it's not going to require a game restart. You know, obviously I've just started the reboot of Massey Manor, so I've done quite a lot of prep work in that already, and the last thing I want is for that to have to be reset. I'm curious as to what exactly it is that's being updated. I haven't seen any news about this on Black Sheep Modding's page. I know that that team is taking a bit of a holiday. I think they'll be away now till the end of the first week of July. Or beginning of the second week of July, something like that, before they come back. So I don't expect to see any updates on their Facebook page for a little while. Obviously they're not going to be working on mods while they're taking a break, and it'll be like I said, it'll be interesting to see exactly what this update's for. I know that they did do an update for the map for PC recently to include the Seasons mod, which ended up winning the online voting contest in the modding contest. But obviously that's a PC only mod right now, so it can't be that. So I'm wondering what else has been changed. Maybe they've done a little bit of terrain leveling in places. Maybe they've found another error that's that needed to be bug fixed. have to wait and see until the details of that update go through. But yeah, a little confused and surprised to see that one pop up. So that's sort of the mod news that is out there at the moment. Fingers crossed, we're going to start seeing some of those entries from the mod contest make their way into testing soon as well. Yeah, I really do want those 2 Fents that I was watching to make their way over, the 800 and the 1000 series. Really would love to see both of those make their way over to console. Having, you know, a Fent farm, that would be absolutely perfect to get a couple of new options for equipment on that farm. Obviously, a sort of an older 90s style Fent 800 would look pretty cool, and to get a Fent 1000 series would be, you know, brilliant. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that those two are going to come across. There's also some other interesting mods that could well make it, and I'm hoping that we're going to see a nice sort of slew of maps making their way across, and it'll be really good to see some of those mod contest maps make their way over to console if possible. There were some really good looking maps. A lot of people are kind of really hoping that the map contest winner, Ballymoon, makes its way over. I did see a tour of that map on PC, and it does look fantastic. So if we can get that map, that would be brilliant. Really nice looking map. Obviously really well put together because it won the mod contest. So yeah, that would be fantastic to see that map come across. But there were some other ones that I really liked the look of as well. There was one that was sort of based in Italy. I'd kind of like to see that one. A nice change of scenery, a new location for us. That kind of rustic Sicilian kind of feel. That I think would work really nicely with some of the equipment that we have. I think that could be a really good map as well. So yeah, definitely hoping that some of those that the console will start to see some of those contest mods, and the next week or so is going to be pretty interesting to see what queues up in testing. Alright, so I figured rather than bringing the truck all the way down here for just this one field, I figured I'd just use the auger itself and just run that back and forth to the farm. I'm kind of a little bit lost on my positioning. Here we go. So we've done about half the field, and we've just about filled up. So there's our big bud just working away over there, nice and diligently. So we're going to go and empty this, and then go back and keep the combine running, and then empty it again. And then we can bring our big bud over and start cleaning up that field that we've just harvested. So we want to park just to the side like this, and there we go. We can empty straight into our silo. So moving over to our big bud, we've just got this little strip left to do, so we'll do that ourselves, save a couple of bucks. I've got my auger cunningly positioned, so hopefully the combine will empty into it as it gets to the end of the field, and then carry on once it's done. We'll find out in a moment if it's worked or not, because we'll get a message saying combine is full, or we won't get that message. I'm hoping we don't get that message. Yeah, once this is done, we're going to move this over and start cleaning up field 6. It doesn't need the plough, but this is the only cultivator we have, so seeing as our only seeder that we have needs a clean field to work on, you know, this is our cultivator. We are going to have to look at getting a new one of those, especially for field 119. That thing is so big, it'll take this thing forever to do that. So maybe we might set him off and get that working, and then do something else while we're waiting for him to get done. And there we go. We are finished on field 2. So let's move around to field 6, which I believe should be the other side of this sort of little rocky outcrop. Well, there's our greenhouses just over there. Look, happily churning away, producing a little bit of money. And this, I think, is going to be our next field target, field 3. We'll look and see if we can start producing money to buy field 3 next. I want to get a nice, decent field set up for grass, so we have a workable grass field. And I'm thinking field 3 might be perfect for that. That having said that, I might just turn field 2 into a grass field as well. So our combine is still moving. It looks as though he did actually fill into the auger wagon. I can't really tell. It does look like there's definitely grain in the back of that. So looks like I positioned it in just the right spot. And that field there is about 150,000. It's affordable if we maxed our loan out again. It's not really something I want to do. I like to keep that money affordable if I can. Plus that field has got no real prep on it, so the yield on those sunflowers is going to be pretty low. And we already have quite a lot of sunflowers, so we don't really need to buy it to add to an already high level of stock. There we go. So the cleanup operation is underway now on field 6 as well. Let's check in with the harvester. Yeah, he's definitely been emptied, look. And there's the grain. Not a lot, 9,500, but enough that it would have caused issues had we not emptied it. And yeah, that's 3/4 of a tank in that combine over there. So let's get the rest of this field finished off. We have a great demand pop up. It's for canola for the next 6 hours, but unfortunately I think canola is probably the one crop we don't have anything of. That's actually what I was thinking of planting in this next round of crops. So that's a little unfortunate if that is the case. Let's just get the hose out. There we go. So let's check. Yeah, we have no canola. It's the one crop we don't have anything of. We've got corn, we've got soybeans, we've got sunflowers, we've got lots of barley, we've got some wheat as well. We have no canola, and that's the one with the special offer. Wouldn't you know? Ah well, not a lot we can do about it, so let's just get everything back to the farm and move on to the next job. And there's the rest of our grain harvest. There we go. Whoop. So how much corn is that going to leave us with at the end? Somewhere in the region of around 60,000 litres, I think. Maybe more than that, actually. Where are we going to end up? 61, 62, 63, 65,000. That's not too bad. That's a nice, decent amount to work with there. So if we get a great demand, then obviously we've got almost an entire trailer's worth that we can sell. So that's pretty good to see. Right, we don't need the auger anymore, so let's get that put away. And then we can finish cleaning and prepping our fields. Probably put down a stage of fertilizer as well. So our sort of little workhorse tractor here, our Puma, is going to be very busy today. We have a lot of different jobs to have to carry out. Let's grab the axis. There we go. Oh, it's almost empty. So yeah, this is definitely going to need a fill. And I need to be through there. Getting lost on my own farm here. There we go. And it was the first one, wasn't it? I thought that was seed for a moment. There we go. So we'll get this filled up and then we'll get him started fertilising on field 2. So one of the other things I want to look at is I want to look at maybe getting a manure spreader. Now our cows are producing a decent amount of manure. So maybe we can start looking at getting a small manure spreader for our smaller fields here. We don't need this. This is, way too big, really, for just those small fields. I'm thinking the Tornado. Let's see what else we've got. I mean, I wouldn't mind actually getting a Terra variant. It's going to cost us 43,000 for the attachment, though. And on top of that, obviously, we've got to buy the Terra variant, and that isn't cheap. That's 250, 260,000, I think. Where is the variant? Yeah, $249,000. So it's going to cost us best part of $300,000 just to buy, that as a unit. That's way too expensive right now. I mean, we don't have any other need for the Terra variant other than maybe potentially further down the line as a slurry tanker. And the slurry tank on its own is going to cost another 55,000, and we're probably going to want the cultivator to go with it. So that's, well, we are going to want the cultivator to go with it because it can't function as a sprayer. It only works as a storage tank. So we can either use it and then pull one of these behind it and double up the capacity, because that will spray, and it will then also take from the tank mounted on the back of the variant. But that's another 50,000 on top of that as well. So now you're looking at 250,000, plus another 100,000 just as a slurry spreader. And then if we want to cultivate, another 12,000 on top of that. And then if we want to add in the manure spreader, we're talking 400,000, and that's a lot of money for as something that can easily be done by two other smaller, less expensive pieces of equipment. So this is looking like a decent investment right now. The Tornado 3, that's 50,000. Doesn't need a hugely powerful tractor to pull it. It's got a decent sized capacity. Should do well on our smaller fields. And also, if we look at slurry tankers, then we could just go for this as well. This is 50,000. Use that as a slurry spreader. How much slurry do we actually have? Oh, someone's finished the job. Who is that? Oh no, it's this. It's when I tried to get it started. So let's just take control for a second. We'll finish this field off, and before we move off to the other field, we will have a look and see just how expensive, or not how expensive, sorry, we'll see how much slurry we actually have in our slurry tanker. So here we are. We need the help window up, don't we? So slurry level is 64,000 litres. That's not too bad. That's enough for... how much Yeah, was that tank? It was 50,000. How much is the capacity on that? 18.5. So that is three, nearly four of those tanks before it runs dry. That's not bad. Our cows are producing a decent quantity of slurry. And obviously, we have our manure here as well. Will it tell me the manure fill level? Probably not without connecting the front loader. Oops, did not mean to do that. Let's try that again. Right, so now, why won't it tell me the fill level? Does it tell me? Yeah, I don't think it'll tell me up here either, will it? No, it won't. Why isn't it telling me? Is it because I have that attached? Let's detach that. There's just no information point up here. Look, it's just not telling me how much manure we have. That's frustrating. I was hoping to see exactly how much we have without having to scoop it all out bit by bit just to find out. It won't be anywhere near as much as the slurry because we've obviously used a good chunk of the manure already to sort our greenhouses out. But there should be a nice little load there. I think we'll probably go for that slurry tanker, you know. Let's go sell this. Oh, I've just filled it up, haven't I? Alright, let's use this, the fertilizer up that we have. And then we'll go sell it. And then we'll replace it with the fertilizer tank, with the slurry tank. So let's go start spraying field 6. So field 6 is now cultivated and fertilized. And ploughed, obviously, using the culti plough. So that's been cleaned and put away. And what I've done is I've bought the Horsch cultivator, and I've gone for this one for a couple of reasons. One, it ties in with some of the other equipment that we've already got in the sense that we have a Horsch auger. You know, it fits kind of the colour scheme that we've been using so far on the farm, although that, you know, is subject to change. We are going to start bringing some Challenger equipment onto the farm in the future. And it doesn't really ever get used by me at all. I don't think I've ever really used this because it has a 400 horsepower requirement. So for something that's 10 meters and requires 400 horsepower, there are cultivators that can do more than that with a lower power requirement. The Lemken cultivator, for example, does 12 meters and that only needs 300 horsepower. So I never really tend to use this, so I thought it'd be nice to actually break this out and use this one for a change. It also gives us a reason to keep Big Bud around, because and gives him more to do. And although it only gains us an extra 2 meters on the culti plough, it can allow us to cultivate at 10 miles an hour instead of 7. So it will speed up the cultivating process, both in terms of actual speed and also a little bit in terms of distance covered as well. So that's why I decided to go with this one, because going forward we will obviously look at getting in some of the really big stuff, but I want to wait until we get some more powerful tractors before we do that. So I'm thinking maybe down the line we're going to get the big flexi coil, which is a 25.6 meter cultivator. Huge, great big thing. But really that's only really workable on this field and not the other ones. They're not really big enough to justify that. And even though this tractor will support it because it has a 500 horsepower requirement, and this tractor has 500 horsepower, again, I'd rather wait till we had a bigger tractor. Something like maybe the big Challenger with the model name I can't remember right now. Or maybe a quad track, something like that. One of those two tractors I think will be ideal for that. Okay, so I've just finished fertilising field 119, and we pretty much empty that. There's like a couple of 100 litres left in that tank, so it's time to sell that now. See how much money we get back for it. 19.5, that's not too bad. we've used it a fair bit, so 19.5 isn't too bad at all. And as you can see, we have bought that slurry spreader. So all of our fields are now fertilised to stage 1, apart from field 20, which is just over there, the other side of those buildings. So we're going to take this back and we're going to fill it up, and then we're going to fertilise field 20, and then all of our fields, all 4 of them, will have the first stage of fertilisation on them. They'll all be cultivated apart from that one, and obviously 119, which is being cultivated as we speak, so we'll be ready to start reseeding. And I think we are going to go with canola. Like I said, we've got pretty much a lot of everything else. So 119 is definitely going to have canola, 20 will have canola as well. I think field 2 I might do with wheat, and I might do field 6 with some soybeans just to top those ones up a little bit. But we're definitely going to get some canola on the 2 fields over on the far left of the map. That'll give us a nice bump in that one crop that we don't have anything of. And now we just have to wait for a great demand. We get one of those and we get it for, say, sunflowers, we are on easy street, because we're going to make a fortune. 118,000 litres I think it is that we have. I missed my turn there. Let's cut through here instead. 118,000 litres or so of sunflowers just waiting for that great demand to drop. And then we can go and sell all of those and make a nice, tidy little bit of profit. So, let's pull it to our slurry tank. There we go, filling up nicely. So, let's get this thing into action now. It has a much narrower working width than the spreader sprayer that we just got rid of. That had a 24 metre working width. This has 14.8 metres. So definitely shallower. But it's free. We don't have to pay for this slurry because it's a natural byproduct from our cows. So this is free fertiliser. Okay, let's just quickly check in with our 450. Done quite a good chunk of the field already. That speed and width increase is definitely helping get through this field a lot quicker than it would have done before. So that's great to see. And when it does come time to maybe get rid of this cultivator, we will make a decent amount of money back on it, because hopefully we won't have it, for so long that it depreciates really heavily. But we would have had it too long if we loaned it. We would have it. We'll have this for at least another couple of harvests, I think, before we need to maybe consider getting rid of it. And at that rate, the amount of loan charges that we would incur, plus the usage cost for using it, means that it just wouldn't be a financially viable idea to loan it. It would we'll actually make more money buying it and selling it, or we'll save money buying it and then selling it again than we will just loaning one. Okay, so now it's time for us to start the seeding process. So we've got enough fuel, we don't have to worry about that. We do need the seeder. And do we need to refill that? Probably. Yes, that's definitely going to need a refill. So let's drive that round to the seed tank. Ooh, can we make that turn? Well, yeah, we can, because that tree has no clipping. Oh, no collisions. There we go. So let's change the seed to canola. There we go. And let's have a look at the other crops that we have. So I was thinking maybe soybeans We've got 28,000 litres there. Could do with a little bit more wheat just to top that up a touch. Obviously, we definitely need canola. We've just topped up our corn thanks to that new field. So, again, none of those prices are really screaming out at me saying this is the right time to sell. So, yeah, let's switch to soybeans. We'll do the soybean planting first. It's a tight turn with this thing. It doesn't like turns. It's such a long frame that it really doesn't like some of those tighter turns. And you'll notice as well, and this is more prevalent because we're using a tractor that has duals on it, those wheels, those back wheels clip the turning wheels at the front of the seeder, which is another reason why certain tractors don't work very well. If the wheelbase is too wide, then it just struggles. This is another fault with the track challengers, is that they just don't like this. They don't seem to have the right balance to be able to pull it without getting pulled in a different direction. And obviously, with those tracks sticking out at the side, they do also cause, turning issues with this seeder as well. Now let's get the seeder started. You can just see a message has popped up. Helper H has stopped work. We've run out of slurry. That is the one downside to slurry spreaders, is that they do tend to run out quite quickly. How far did we get? So it looks like we did 4 passes, 4 and a bit passes. That's not too bad. So let's go top her up. And we may need to do a second top up just to finish the field off. But we've been able to get this field done effectively for free, rather than having to pay a few $1,000s in fertilizer costs. So it's not all bad. We just need to increase our head of cattle to produce that slurry a little bit quicker. So maybe we might invest in a few more cows as well. We'll see how much we've got in just a moment. So while our slurry tank is refilling, let's take a look at our animals. We have 54 cows. The next one is due in 17 hours. We can actually see how much manure we've got here. That's kind of cool. So we've got 22,000 litres of manure. That's not bad. It's not enough to really spread on fields yet. And how much manure are we going to be having left when we finish? It's still filling. Oh, there we go. So we've got 29,000 litres left. So we've got 1.5 tanks left before we run out. We definitely need to increase the number of cows, I think, so we can start producing faster. And they'll also earn more money in milk as well. The more cows we have, the more money we'll make. So we started the game with 50 cows. We've bred 4 since we've been running. So let's quickly add some more cows. This is the dialogue box. It won't let me... let's do it out of the tractor. There we go. So they're 5,000 each. So we can afford to buy another 7 cows. How much money do we have taken out? Our loan's at 245,000. I don't really want to max that out, but we kind of need the cows. So let's... I can always make the money back with some contract work off camera. So let's max the loan out and let's really go for it with these cows. So I've got 92,000. Obviously, we're going to have delivery charge. So we can buy 17 more cows. That's quite helpful. So let's buy 17 more. And obviously that's going to affect our feed and fill levels, so we'll have to top those up again soon. But now we're up to 71 cows, and you can see that the reproduction rate has improved. So it's now 16 hours and 52 minutes to our next one, as opposed to 17 hours and something. And 22 hours, 13 minutes is the current reproduction rate. Obviously, as that number goes up, in terms of number of cows we own, that reproduction rate will come down. So let's get back to finishing fertilising that field. and then we can check in on our seeder and get everything else up and running as well. Okay, so field 6 is planted, time to plant on field 2. Now we're going to plant some wheat on this one. So let's get the seeder lined up. There we go. Let's change the seed. There we go. And we are planting. So we finished cultivating 119. We just have this one last field to cultivate now, field 20. So let's drive in, fold up the or unfold the cultivator. It's just finished being fertilised as well. As we were making our way over here, our slurry spreader completed its job. So there we go. Cultivator is off and running. Where is our slurry tanker? There it is, over there. We'll run over. Shouldn't take too long for him to cultivate this field. And we'll take this back now and get it all cleaned up, find somewhere to store it on the farm. I haven't quite figured out where I'm going to put it just yet, but I'll find somewhere. So there we go, field 2 is done as well. So all we need to do now is get our canola planted. We are going to top this up because it is definitely going to run out of seed, that much I can guarantee. I can swing around that corner there, bit of a wide turn, but we made it. So we'll top this up with seed and then we'll unleash this onto field 20. Hopefully there'll be enough ground that's already been cultivated by that point. If actually we'll back this up, it'll be easier to get out if we go along that road there. So let's back into our seed bay just here, if we can. No, we can't, because look, see what I was saying about those wheels? Look, because we've got dual wheels, watch what happens. That's one of the issues with this, so we are going to have to loop around the block. It's a problem for this particular seeder. It's just it's almost as if the tow bar isn't long enough. There's not enough space between that and the sort of steering support wheels at the front. Those little dolly wheels or trolley wheels. There we go. So let's top that up. Let's switch over to canola. There we go. Shouldn't take too long to do this. There's our cows looking quite happy just over there. So we used about 2,000 litres of seed, or just under, doing those other two fields there, one of wheat, one of soybean. But I expect we'll use quite a big chunk of this 5,800 litres just on field 20. I think we are definitely going to have to refill this halfway through field 119. So about half of the field has been cultivated. That gives us a bit of a head start. We'll see this is an 18.2 metre working width as opposed to a 10 metre working width, so we will catch up to that thing pretty quickly. But hopefully we've got enough of a head start that we shouldn't come into too much in the way of a delay. So let's get lined up nicely. There we go. And off we go with the seeding on field 20. One of the things that's helping us stay ahead is not only is this able to move at 1 mile an hour faster, which doesn't sound much, but it adds up. It has a much faster turning circle, having an articulated body and a nice, fairly compact piece of equipment to turn. It'll turn really straightforward and quickly, whereas the seeder, being very long, very wide, very unwieldy, takes a lot longer for that tractor to turn and reposition for the next pass. So this is how quickly we're doing it on this one. Look, just vroom, speeding around that turn there. And now in the distance you'll be able to see just how long it takes for the Optum to turn, reposition, and then get started again. So he's going slow, he's struggling. It's a very long, very wide piece of equipment. Got to get in place, drive on to straighten up, back up, drop down, and there, we've done half a field length in the time it's taken that thing to turn around. That's the kind of speed difference. So yes, he's easily cutting into the amount of field that remains, and we may well collide or at least cause some kind of a pile-up, but it'll be right towards the end of the field at this rate. I mean, that thing is, say, it's slower, it takes so much longer to turn, and this cultivator is much easier for our big bud to handle. So look, it's going to be close, but we are going to make it. We should just about get done before that tractor gets to the end. So crisis averted. This can now finish off and get cleaned up and put away, and then we can carry on with our seeding and move on to field 119 and get that planted with canola. Okay, so with field 20 done, this is the last field that needs planting, field 119. Now we have, what, 3,500 litres of canola. That isn't going to last very long. You can see how quickly that's ticking down already, so we are definitely going to need to do a refill. I was hoping to do it with pallets at the store, but we don't even have enough to buy a single pallet left, and we have obviously no money left on a loan to take out to cover the seed pallet cost because we spent it all on cows. So we're going to have to drive all the way back to the farm when we need to do a refill. I was kind of hoping to avoid that simply just because of the time it would take to get down there and get back again, but now we kind of have no choice. So we'll just run until we run out of seed, and then we'll head back to the farm and do a refill, come back and finish the field off. There we go. Finished the pass, and we're pretty much out of seed. So rather than starting and moving all of 1 meter forward, we may as well just go back and refill at this point. Then we can start again from the bottom of the field when we come back. So there we go. Our worker has finally finished. Our field is done. All of our fields have been cultivated. A couple have been ploughed as well. They've all been fertilised once. They've all been planted. Been a long day for our farmer. Over 14 hours he's been going, but the day is finally coming to a close. So it's time to clean off the equipment, put it away, and turn in for the night. That brings this week's episode of American Outback to an end. So thank you very much for watching. Tune in tomorrow for the next instalment of Massey Manor. Have a little bit of midweek Massey tomorrow. And then obviously Friday we have Fed Farm, and Saturday we go back for the second episode of the week of Big Bud Farm. So plenty of farming content still to come for the rest of the week. Thank you for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back on American Outback next Wednesday.